Okay, so the Candace Owens Andrew Wilson debate is set for tomorrow, Friday. The moderator is to be Patrick Bet-David after, a few back and forth. I know that I'm going to read a little bit of Candace's text with Joe Rogan, but that was one person slated as being the moderator. Michael Knowles, if you watched his video, he was actually not asked personally, but kind of presented online to be the moderator. So first and foremost, I want to say that I personally would not be surprised. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but I would not be surprised if Candace Owens backed out last minute. Now, the way that Candace positions herself, and I do want to give full disclaimer, I'm very biased against Candace Owens. I think she's despicable. I think all you have to do is put yourself in Erica Kirk's shoes. There's literally no credible evidence other than speculation. Like, think about that. Have you seen any actual evidence, like true evidence, to support the claim that she had anything to do with her husband's murder? Now, let's say that she is innocent, which I believe she is. How would you feel being in her shoes if somebody, and again, before you comment, think, if somebody were to treat you like this with the platform that Candace has, the way that Candace has treated Erica Kirk after the most horrific thing that could possibly happen to you happens, which is a public execution of an innocent man that you are married to. I don't think there's anything more despicable than that. And then the fact that somebody is tarnishing your name, dragging you through the mud because they have a platform and they can do it, who has previously stated that you are the one person, aside from their husband, that could end all this, and you are now getting the gun pointed at you in the proverbial sense. I mean, Candace Owens has said, if Erica told me to stop, I will stop. And then she realized that she had convinced her own audience that Erica was in on it and that TPUSA is complicit, and her own audience turned on her for even having the conversation. And instead of saying, hey, this is my stance, this is what I believe, I don't think Erica had anything to do with it, she doubled down. So just put yourself in Erica's shoes. And if there is credible evidence, why is the defense not using it? Why is the defense not using it? And I believe I saw that Tyler Robinson might have taken a plea agreement and confessed to it. I don't know. But the defense has not used one bit of Candace Owens' evidence, quote unquote. So food for thought. I'm very biased towards Candace Owens, but I also have my astounding disagreements with Andrew Wilson. And maybe I can get into those into a later video. I don't want to get into that right now. But what I do want to talk about is this debate. Okay, so this debate is slated to happen Friday, August 14th. And my personal opinion is something is going to happen that is going to drive Candace Owens not to do it. So there's something that happens in mixed martial arts, and you'll see this a lot. It's called pricing yourself out. So what typically happens is a guy gets offered a fight with a guy that he knows can whip his ass or can beat him. And what he does is, instead of saying, you've seen this with John Jones a lot and some other guys, but what he does is, instead of saying, I don't want to fight this person, he says, well, they don't want to pay me what I'm worth. Or, oh, we couldn't come to terms. Or, oh, they're not, they don't want to pay me. They don't want to put the money up. Or, I wanted to fight, but, they didn't want to, do X, Y, and Z. This is what's called pricing yourself out. It's when you don't want to fight, and so you put it on them. They didn't want to pay me. They didn't want to agree to my terms. Candace Owens' situation. Andrew Wilson offered $150,000. She ignored it, pretended like he didn't know who he was, who she was, pretended like she did not know who he was, and then offered her $300,000. And then she counters. But the way she presented the counter, I watched the whole video. The way that she presented the counter was, oh, this is my offer to you, not me. Like, it in real estate, you have three things. You can reject an offer. I'm a real estate agent, so you can reject an offer, you can counter an offer, or you can accept an offer. So what she did was she countered, but she made it seem like, oh, this is my offer to you. And if you don't accept it, then you're the one that is, rejecting it. At the end of the day, you're rejecting the offer. but you're putting your terms as if they want, and it's a new offer. It's submitted as a new offer. And that's exactly what she did. It's submitted as a new offer. Hey, I like some of these terms, but here's an addendum. Here's what I would like. And she does it all online, right? She says she needs $500,000 because Andrew's poor. She doesn't think he has $300,000. So she's going to demand $200,000 more. Which is whatever. She's got her fees. You know, you've got to come to me. I'm pregnant. You got to come to me. Okay. Again, she's kind of played this game before. If you look at the timeline, she didn't want to do the debate with Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett because her show was on it too. And, you know, she can't take time away from her show, that what she only talks about is Charlie Kirk for the last few months, to go talk about Charlie Kirk with the people on the Charlie Kirk podcast. Okay. Fair enough, right? She didn't go to the memorial. She's constantly done certain things to price herself out, to take herself out of it, which if I had the opportunity to go to the memorial, I would have. I thought that was, watching it, I felt the Holy Spirit move. And again, I think a lot of people are pointing at Candace as derailing what the Holy Spirit is doing. 100% not the case. She's falling right into God's hand, whether or not she wants to or not, whether or not she's part of that plan or she's being used for the purpose of that plan. But so anyway, she's priced herself out yet again. She doesn't want Joe Rogan to do the debate. This is what she texted Joe Rogan. She said, "Hey, Joe, Andrew was quite difficult to nail down on terms for the debate." I mean, okay. I just want to stop right there. First sentence. Andrew was quite difficult. Andrew is offered to pay you $300,000 to debate. And you're the one that is, you know, making all these stipulations. I would like to hold him to what has finally been agreed to. Without any more changes, because I think he's actually just a routine liar who wants to buy himself some time after months of fake internet bravado. I'm not kidding you. I legitimately could just insert Candace with Andrew and him with her. Like, it is so crazy the amount of projection that is going on in this text message with Joe. Joe has to just be like, oh my gosh. He cares and knows nothing about the Charlie Kirk case, yet has been ankle biting for 4 months now over an issue that actually deeply matters to me. Okay. It's not every day you watch your friend get assassinated and then have to deal with a chain-smoking loser who is challenging you over documents and incentives he's never even bothered to read. Okay. Again, I would just say, speculation is speculation. Evidence is evidence. I could say whatever I want about a murder case, but if you can't get the person, place, and time down, then that has nothing to do with that case. And it's the same thing that's going on here. Is she is just speculating. And another one that was. Yeah, let me just keep reading. After lying about me on your show so brazenly, what did he lie about? Andrew now has my attention. Of course, because it was on the Joe Rogan Experience. I think personally she wants this on her show so she could control the narrative, maybe edit it, maybe not post it. But I'm very certain that she is going to make some stipulation last minute that is going to cause this whole thing to blow up. And she's going to blame it on them. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. So hopefully, because Patrick Bet-David is the moderator now, hopefully he holds her feet to the fire. Were any other person who I thought was being honest about their opinions, I would be grateful for the opportunity to jump on your platform and debate. But in this unique circumstance, I'd like to hold Andrew to his own expressed bravado this Friday on my podcast. Of course, right? She needs the views. All right. Another one that she said, and this one was the big one, was that Turning Point USA had to admit that they were backing Andrew. And again, it's like, well, if that's not true, how can we do that? Like, how can I plead guilty to something that is not, like, you're just, because it's a lose-lose, right? You have to admit that for me to debate. But she's previously said, I believe, that I won't interact with anybody from Turning Point USA. So it's like, okay, if I admit something that's not true, then you're not going to debate. If I don't admit something that's not true, you're not going to debate. She's pricing herself out. She's the fighter that wants people to think she's tough, but doesn't want to actually make the walk. Because if you really want to fight somebody, you'll do it for free. Now, it's nice to get paid, but she's been talking about Charlie Kirk literally every episode, except for maybe a handful, since he passed away, which was almost a year ago. I understand that her friend died, quote unquote, friend. I think she was a real headache for him from what I've seen the last couple years of his life. But I'm sorry, if I had a show, this show was as big as hers, or even remotely close to that, and all I talked about was a murder for a year, I think it would show my true nature, and especially when things are not adding up, timelines are not adding up, the genuineness of your character is seemingly putting on display in a negative way. And then to send that text to Joe, and then she's the one that put that out, doesn't make her look good. Yeah, I don't know. I would debate for free. I would debate anyone and everyone for free to get my voice heard, especially if the defense wasn't using the evidence that I brought to get somebody off that I thought was innocent. So I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right. Do you think this debate's going to happen? I personally don't, but that's my own personal opinion. Hopefully it does. And hopefully Patra Bet David can keep her feet to the fire, and Andrew can keep things in line. But I anticipate she's going to try to change something last minute. Kind of like some of the things you see with the Iran deals. They change something and then, bombs go flying. So I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right. I love you guys. Peace.